Since the coup that overthrew interim President Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damian on September 30, 2022, Burkina Faso has been led by military commander Ibrahim Traore, a native of Burkina Faso. Traore, at 34, is currently the youngest president in Africa. He has maintained a formal and enigmatic demeanor as president, which he was previously known for. In an attempt to counter the unfavorable public opinion that followed his predecessors, Traore has made a deliberate effort to present himself as a dignified world leader, tightly controlling his communication. Pro-government propaganda has increased in Burkina Faso's traditional and social media outlets during his tenure. It would be apt to describe him as a revolutionary, akin to Thomas Sankara. In the latest development, Traore has immediately suspended the issuance of permits for the export of artisanal and semi-mechanized gold and other precious commodities. Artisanal miners are individuals or small groups who use traditional tools and methods, often with limited technology and mechanization, to extract gold. They usually sell their gold directly to local traders or intermediaries. Semi-mechanized miners employ some level of mechanization in the extraction and processing, often utilizing small machinery and equipment. They may operate with more formal structures and sell their gold to larger traders or export companies. A statement released by the military leaders on February 20 stated that the suspension aims to clean up the sector and reflects the government's desire to better organize the marketing of gold and other precious substances. It further mentioned that mining groups with materials to export are encouraged to contact the National Society for Precious Commodities for payment. As of 2020, gold constituted 37% of Burkina Faso's total exports, and mining served as a significant source of employment. However, in recent years, political instability and a widespread Islamist insurgency have hindered exploration and reduced gold extraction, resulting in the closure of certain mines and a decline in production. Two military coups were also initiated in 2022 due to frustrations with the escalating insecurity. The impact of the new ban on exports remains uncertain. Artisanal production makes up nearly half of the industrially produced gold in the Sahel region of West Africa, which includes Burkina Faso. Approximately 10 to 30 tons of gold are mined in Burkina Faso, involving an estimated 1 million people in the sector. It's worth noting that in December, Captain Ibrahim Traore revoked the mining licenses of all foreign businesses in Burkina Faso, including those from Russia. He became aware of the covert activities conducted by global companies in Burkina Faso. The cancellation of licenses and his strategy for the remaining thousands of tons of gold in Burkina Faso are unclear. Prominent industry players such as B2 Gold, Nord Gold, Endeavour Mining, Samafo, Fortuna, Silva Mines, and Hummingbird Resources were disrupting Western businesses accustomed to exploiting the continent's resources. Captain Ibrahim could not comprehend why Burkina Faso, despite having significant gold reserves, remained one of the world's poorest nations. He knew that Burkina Faso's former colonial power, France, had imposed unfair trade agreements on the country both before and after its independence, ensuring that France gained disproportionate benefits from Burkina Faso's gold resources. This hindered Burkina Faso from establishing an independent gold industry. During his military service, Captain Ibrahim Traore observed that Burkina Faso's gold exports were subject to unfair pricing arrangements, and French companies were given preferential treatment in miner licenses. France failed to provide adequate support for Burkina Faso's domestic gold mining industry, favoring foreign technology and expertise instead, thereby obstructing the transfer of knowledge and skills to individuals in Burkina Faso. Due to increased reliance on foreign players, the country faced challenges in establishing itself as a leader in the gold mining industry. Captain Ibrahim Traore aimed to rectify this situation after witnessing the detrimental impact of France's Sahelian policies. However, he acknowledged that Burkina Faso's government had previously been unduly influenced by France to ensure that policies favored French mining businesses, thereby requiring a change. This included resisting the laws, supporting regional authority over gold reserves, and pressuring the government to offer favorable conditions to French businesses. Ibrahim Traore decided to consolidate his powers to escape the systemic trap in Burkina Faso, where the CFA franc, a shared currency used by multiple West African countries, negatively impacted the nation's gold sector. Due to the CFA franc's fixed exchange rate to the euro, Burkina Faso's exports were artificially overpriced, reducing its international competitiveness. This led Ibrahim Traore to announce that his country might soon abandon the CFA franc in an effort to break free from the ties that kept them enslaved. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have consistently prioritized autonomy over convenience, as demonstrated by their expulsion of French soldiers and withdrawal from a UN mission in Mali. Their stance on the euro-pegged CFA franc remains unchanged, despite analysts and experts believing that abandoning the CFA franc would be riskier and more challenging than leaving the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, a decision that would be seen as bold, albeit possibly foolish defiance. However, France was able to artificially strengthen the CFA franc and then devalue it after purchasing a significant amount of gold from Burkina Faso, resulting in France paying less in CFA franc for the gold than the original amount. This made it evident that France's involvement in Burkina Faso's gold mining industry was primarily driven by its desire to exploit the country's resources for its own benefit, with little regard for Burkina Faso's development. Traore's immediate suspension of export permits for artisanal and semi-mechanized gold and other precious commodities has sparked discussions and raised concerns about potential impacts. The decision could have significant effects on the approximately 1 million people directly or indirectly involved in artisanal gold mining, which serves as a vital source of income for many in Burkina Faso. The suspension may lead to a decline in gold production and export, impacting the national economy and government revenue. Additionally, it might push some miners towards the black market, undermining the government's efforts for transparency and regulation. The discontent among affected communities could result in social unrest and further instability, exacerbating the existing challenges in Burkina Faso. It is important to note that the government has not specified the duration of the suspension, creating uncertainty for miners and businesses. However, Traore certainly has a plan. It is possible that Western corporations have started utilizing these small-scale gold traders to extract gold from Burkina Faso. Many African nations are trapped in cycles of dependency and poverty due to the substantial profits made by Western firms from Africa's resources. Traore's initiatives align with a growing trend among African leaders who demand a more equitable sharing of wealth that goes beyond immediate financial benefits, challenging the notion that the continent is merely a source of cheap resources. By making this decision, Traore challenges the Western narrative that views African nations as inexpensive resource suppliers and asserts his right to self-determination. Traore is fighting for sovereignty. His bold action may inspire other African countries to adopt a similar attitude and take control of their destinies. Under the resolute leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso is rewriting history by taking on the challenge of regaining control over its vast gold reserves and challenging the historical dominance of foreign corporations. The opening of a new gold refinery heralds an exciting new era in which the country aims to attract investors dedicated to sustainable and ethical development and unlock the full potential of its mineral wealth. Previously, Burkina Faso had to agree to export raw, unprocessed gold, resulting in missed revenue opportunities. With the establishment of its gold refinery, Burkina Faso's officials will be present to assess the appropriate amount of gold to be supplied. Before, exporting raw gold meant accepting lower prices and excluding themselves from the refining process. Now is the time for change. It's worth noting that Traore has been fulfilling his promises made during his speech at the Russian-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. He mentioned that Burkina Faso had faced violent forms of imperialist neocolonialism and ongoing slavery, but he didn't seek pity for his country. Instead, he chose to fight against all the crises and relaunch their development. He consistently devises strategies to improve the situation. African countries should collaborate to achieve their development goals, including trade, security, and migration. They must also speak with one voice on international issues. Russia has provided military and financial assistance to Africa without interfering in its internal affairs, making it a reliable partner. The youth in Africa should rise and fight against neocolonialism. Burkina Faso's suspension of small-scale gold export permits has sparked a complex discussion. The government's objectives of structuring the industry and combating criminal activity are commendable. However, concerns arise regarding the possible effects on social stability, the national economy, and the livelihoods of miners. To foster confidence and reduce disruption, it is essential to specify the objectives, timeline, and compensation specifics for affected miners. For long-term solutions that go beyond simple regulation, it is imperative to address problems like poverty, a lack of alternatives, and poor governance. The situation in Burkina Faso serves as a reminder of the complex issues surrounding small-scale gold mining in Africa. While there are no easy solutions, navigating this challenging terrain requires a thoughtful strategy that prioritizes transparency, sustainability, and the well-being of affected individuals. The path towards a more sustainable and fair gold industry for Burkina Faso and other African countries facing similar challenges necessitates a careful consideration of different perspectives and their impacts. What are your thoughts on Ibrahim Traore's decision to suspend export permits for small-scale gold production in Burkina Faso? Let us know in the comments section below. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to turn on the notification bell to receive updates whenever we upload a new video. Thank you for watching.